But here's something a lot of people aren't showing enough of, that Sykostu was very apologetic when he learned that Raja Jackson was not a worker at the event. He apologized 3 times. They shook hands multiple times, and Raja said, like, hey, it's good, I get it. Multiple times. Meanwhile, he was just, like, bubbling with anger, waiting for his chance to fucking assault this man.
So he even apologized for it, not realizing.
Fucking seal that. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, it's gonna all work out.
Yeah, hello.
That's crazy.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know. I thought you were
I get it.
This hurts. This hurts me a lot. I didn't know this happened. So you mean to tell me that this man apologized even while the camera was still there because he didn't realize? And everything seemed fine, and now he's sitting in the hospital in what was critical condition?
working out. Well, he's gonna come out on your mat, Juice. I know you keep thinking we're working. We're always working.
I get it. Right. I get it now. Now you
know what I'm saying? We're always working.
What a fucking worm. This is some slimy behavior here. This is some turbo ass. Raja Jackson is now pretending that he understands and forgives Sykostu, who is very apologetic, mind you, and he's explaining, like, look, I saw the cameras, I thought that this was like another work, we were building a storyline, this and that, and Raja Jackson's like, no, I get it, and he's like shaking his hand and everything. Meanwhile, he is actively planning of assaulting this man, beating him unconscious and fucking leaving him eating meals through a straw, as he is like pretending to let bygones be bygones here and that they're on good terms. That's fucking unhinged. Now, before showing you some more of the aftermath here, let me introduce you to Sykostu. I think you should get a little bit of the lore behind this wrestler that Raja Jackson beat so severely, hospitalizing in the ICU, and apparently caused to flatline in the ring.
Pro in 2009. I had just got out of the military, probably about 6 months earlier. I got out of the military, I joined Knox Pro, because I needed something to focus on. I needed something to help me adjust back into civilian life. A lot of veterans, it's hard for them to readjust into civilian life coming from the life of the military. I'm an American soldier that suffers from PTSD. Being in front of a crowd, it doesn't give me as much anxiety and aggression as I thought it would.
Yeah. Sykostu is a veteran who was suffering from PTSD and found wrestling as a means of escapism and fell in love with the sport.
Man, that's fucked. That's really fucked. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, a lot of these guys, they do it because they have to put bread on their table, or they've got their own things that push them to go back into the ring, And to have some little fucking worm like this guy go up there and do this, it's fucking disgusting. Especially to people that don't really want to hurt anybody. His guy goes up there with nothing but intent to either harm or kill somebody, stating beforehand what he had planned on doing, and they still allowed this kid to get into the ring and do this.
And now is currently hospitalized in the ICU, but apparently is stable, so hopefully Rampage Jackson is accurate with that claim, that he is alive and stable. That would be wonderful news. But what an unbelievable set of circumstances that led to his hospitalization here. Yes, he made a mistake with Rampage Jackson's son here, not knowing whether or not he was a worker and still building the storyline anyway under the impression he was. But it's not a mistake that should have led to something like this, especially when he did everything in his power to try and rectify it and try and apologize for his mistake and explain why it happened and ensure that it was totally unintentional and there wasn't meant to be any bad blood or anything. And he thought that he did accomplish that, but clearly Raja Jackson didn't actually think so. He was just acting. Raja Jackson was flexing his thespian skills here when he was pretending that everything was okay between those two, because what he was actually doing was plotting a premeditated assault on Sykostu. Again,
I just don't understand how they let that man get in the ring with him, knowing full well what he had said and what his intentions were.
That potential argument of self-defense that has poofed away like...
What's crazy is that 20 years ago, this backstage stuff would have never come out, but because there's cameras everywhere now, we're able to put together the full story.
Timmy Turner's fairy godparents. That ship sailed a long time ago because he didn't act in response to the threat. Like, after the beer can was crushed on his head, which, again, he wasn't expecting, and that can be dangerous, but he didn't, like, act in the heat of the moment to defend himself from that or anything. Instead, he let it marinate, let his rage bubble up, and then waited for his opportunity to get revenge later. There is no longer a possible case of self-defense here. Like, yes, he was wronged, but he didn't, like, try and defend himself from that threat or anything. He pretended to, like, move on from it with the guy who did it, and then waited to attack him later. And I think you can make a very strong case that it was attempted murder. At the very least, it is a premeditated assault, and based on the things he was saying leading up to it, and based on the behavior in the ring when he was delivering 27-ish blows to an unconscious man's skull,
27.
I really think there is a strong argument to be made that he was in there doing that solely to try and kill him. All of this on stream, mind you, and you can even see him respond to the news that the guy that he just unloaded 27 punches on in the ring while he was unconscious is potentially flatlined.
Hello?
Told you to double leg that motherfucker and start welding him. I just saw the video.
Shit pissed me off though, Andre.
I understand that, but now they can't wake the nigga up. He's fucking in the ring, fucking flatline, bro.
My
You
bad.
didn't have to do all that shit.
You're bad. I hope this little worm gets put in jail where he belongs. Because he doesn't know what wrestling is. Then I guarantee he's too much of a fucking pussy to step up in the UFC arena because they'll fucking kill him. Especially if they find out what he did in the wrestling organization.
I understand y'all had heat. You didn't have to fucking take advantage.
Alright, I'll call you back later.
This guy does not seem to care at all. This is a fucking monster right here. In response to hearing that the guy flatlined, he just says, "My bad." That's crazy. Kratos had more empathy for the people that he killed in very similar fashion, by the way, with like the unbelievable amount of blows to the head. But at least in Kratos' case, the people he was fighting, they were at least conscious. All of these were delivered to an unconscious man. A man who never even saw this coming, by the way, because he storms into the ring.
That's the reason why this happened. Because if they should have told him, they should have said something to him. So I guarantee you he would have protected himself a little bit better whenever he got into that motion of being thrown onto the mat. Because the way you throw someone on the mat is you have to throw them square on their back so their head doesn't hit the thing. The way he got thrown onto the mat, he hit his head. And he probably would have been able to defend himself better if he had known what was coming for him. They should have said something to this man.
Grabs him and then slams him. So
the entire internet is on fire backing this person, by the way. People want to see this man go to jail where he belongs, away from society.
But he walks away feeling so fucking tough and accomplished about it with no remorse at all for potentially killing this man.
Tired of motherfuckers playing with me, bro. Real shit. One of them was a bitch and fucking bit me. I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stand up for my fucking self because I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me, bro. Real shit.
He's walking away from this with his chin held high, extremely proud of what's unfolded here.
Even right there, he's so amped up. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on some kind of narcotic, honestly. He's so amped up.
It seems like this might be the happiest moment of his life. The way that he is perceiving this is him standing up for himself. He is not able to have a grasp on the severity of what just happened here.
It's because he's one of those dumbasses that actually thinks that wrestling is not a controlled sport.
He thinks that because the disrespect that he encountered early in the day, he was entirely justified to potentially murder this man.
What's crazy is if that was his first debut, getting up there and doing that to the guy on stage, he could have made himself known in the WWE community. You know, that could have been his first step up onto the ring for a permanent basis, but he just threw it all away because he's an idiot.
By the way, the wrestlers that were calling him a bitch, well, I imagine they were saying that because he basically sucker punched this guy potentially to death. The guy never even had a chance to fight back because he came into the ring when his back was turned, slammed him down, immediately knocking him unconscious. It wasn't even a fight, it was a surprise attack. So I imagine that's what he's referencing when it comes to the wrestlers like insulting him and the one that bit him, with everyone that was like getting on top of Raja to get him away.
Well, that's what I was saying, is this guy's too much of a pussy to get into the UFC, because if he did that in the UFC, if he had done this kind of behavior in the UFC, the people that he would have gone up against, if they were able to restand their ground, they'd have killed him. They'd have snapped his neck. They wouldn't have even played with that. They'd have called that fight off immediately.
Sykostu on the ground because he was still going back.
And the reason for that is because if you do that to an actual UFC fighter, their mentality is going to go into self-defense mode. Because if you're sitting on top of somebody and you keep hitting them like that, even though the ref is trying to pull you off, and they stumble back to their feet and they're able to fight back, they're gonna be in I need to fight for my life mode, because they would have to be fighting for their life
to try and make sure he was dead, it seems. Now,
and I guarantee you, if he tried to throw that many punches on a UFC fighter, now keep in mind, the UFC fighters, you know, the human skull is about the same, but they know how to take them punches better. So there's a good chance that the UFC fighter probably would have stood up. I don't think this person deserves to be in a cage where he gets thousands of views. He needs to be in jail where the only views he gets is from the police.
Rest of the clip here, one of the wrestlers
2 square meals a day
from the event starts walking towards them, talking to them, trying to get them to stay, probably until police get there would be my guess.
Yeah.
But he is talking to them and he is shit talking, trying to goad him into staying. And he's like talking about like, I'll fight you right now. And then it's a back and forth. But Raja Jackson reiterates that he wants to fight more of them there. He wants to continue to beat people within an inch of their life there.
What a disgusting person.
I
what an
cannot
absolutely
imagine a world
what
where
a
he
piece
does
of
not go to
trash.
jail for this. I really can't. Rampage Jackson has tons and tons of money, sure, but I don't know if he's going to be able to outspend the attempted murder charges that his son just racked up here. Now, of course, I'm not a lawyer and I don't have like a magic crystal ball.
Especially not with all these videos that are coming forward now.
That I can ponder the orb of to see the future, but my guess would be that there will be attempted murder charges
there needs to
for
be.
this incident. Because,
This is just disgusting. What an absolute disgrace to the sport. I am mind blown this guy was able to get as far as he did in the sport. Like, how many times has he hurt people doing this? Like, I just can't. It's disgusting. It really is. It's absolutely disgusting.